Okay. Warm welcome, everyone. I feel oh, so okay, so full disclosure, I always feel a little bit nervous before class. I don't know why. I feel especially nervous before um right now. And the reason why is because um I've been doing a lot of work on like my back end on this whole socio-political climate we're in and looking at myself with a critical lens of like where my privilege lies and um what it means to be on the right side of doing things, whatever that means, and I'll get more into that. And I have noticed like three things coming. Oh, so I always look to yoga as yoga has helped me make more sense of things in my life than any other framework has. So I look to yoga to try to make sense of the world. And yoga's whole umbrella is these many practices that help us create union. And the idea of union in this very divided culture is somehow unsettling to me, and perhaps it's unsettling to some of you too. Like, how can we wrap our brains around compassion and all of the principles that yoga teaches us with certain people who are just, I mean, I'm going to refrain from using very harsh language, but they're people I certainly don't relate to in any way. So so today I've had this clarity of another part of yoga is self-study, this word svadhyaya. And I have I have come to appreciate um, some. I've come to appreciate like three general entities as teachers, and there are teachers that I I sort of in my non-yoga brain look to create like this hierarchy, like I'm better than them or I'm not like them, and then the hierarchy gets created. And then there's the things that are like too uncomfortable for me to deal with, so I just can't look at them sometimes. And then there are the things that I am learning from that are like within my comfort zone. Um so when I thought about creating a class today, um I just had this idea of like blocking things up into three blocks. And we'll flow as always, but the first block is they're all going to be different teachers to us, and I won't say more than that about them right this second. So let's start on our back. And I'm totally okay you with the things that I say like not resonating with you at all, so just sit with what comes up for you. And if anyone ever wants to turn this into more of a conversation, I'm 100% open to that. um or perhaps something did resonate with you. There's no right or wrong answers in this space. More than anything, it's a way for you to relate to yourself, for you to move more deeply and comfortably into your experience of yourself. So you can breathe, you can move, you can be in stillness. It really doesn't matter to me what your time on your mat looks like. Just take a breath or two, or three or four, right? Let the week, the month, um, the calendar year, it's only been 17 or 18 days at this point. Let the entire 365-day year cycle sink in. And then let yourself, even just for a moment, sit with how many hundreds of years, thousands of years, lifetimes, patterns of teachings, of action, inaction, injustice that it took to get us right here in this moment. Bring awareness to the floor, the earth beneath you, and consider the way we're all connected through the earth's surface. We're all doing this absolutely, unquestionably, inextricably together. Hug your knees into your chest and make your way up to a tabletop position. Let's call this little block that we're entering is it's gonna seem familiar, but it's gonna be unfamiliar. So as you come to table, tense up on your fingertips. So like little claws. So not palms down, not even the pads of your fingers down, like fingertips. And just notice how that feels. Push into your fingertips to lift out of your shoulders like you normally would. And then start to move through some cats and cows. Just super simple. Inhale to drop your belly, lift your heart, and exhale to round into your spine. And maybe even add a little bit here as you inhale, come into a cat spine, but also a C shape, like look over your right shoulder. Think about tapping your right shoulder and your right hip towards each other. And then exhale, cow or cat, even as you come through center. Inhale, cow spine, also left shoulder, left hip, try to touch. And exhale, come back through center. And then just make this your own. Just move a few times, undulate the spine. So depending on your shoulder stability today, depending on your um, your physical health, right? Melinda, I got the second vaccine last week and I felt like garbage all week. And I just kept thinking, I'm so glad I didn't have COVID because I wouldn't have made it. So I'm not at the top of my game right now, which is just to say none of you ever have to be to show up in this space, right? Um, so from table, if it feels okay for you to tuck your toes and come into a plank from here, go right ahead, please. If it feels more comfortable for you to keep your toes, your knees down, go right ahead. So fingertips on the ground, palms are up, if that's what you're working with. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, if you're in table, shift back to child's pose. If you're in plank, shift to down dog. And then inhale either table or back to plank, and just a few movements just like that. If it's challenging, that's okay. This moment, this whole class, all our teachers, right? And then the next time you arrive in down dog or table, my fingers are burning, float your right leg high to the sky. As you exhale, step your right foot towards your left thumb, right foot, left thumb. And then soften your left knee down. So your knee and your foot are like on a tightrope. You're really tight in. It's going to be a little wobbly. As you inhale, come on up, bring your hands to your hips. Ooh. It's okay. It's okay. Ooh. If you're finding your balance, wonderful. If you're not, also wonderful. If it feels wise to you to send your arms overhead, go right ahead and do that. Take a breath, really arrive. As you exhale, float your hands down, frame your right foot, Come up onto fingertips. Left toes tuck, left knee lifts. Left foot steps forward behind your right foot, so your pinky toes touch. Inhale to look up halfway. Your hands can absolutely come to your shins. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, come on up to stand, arms to the sky. Exhale, slowly, softly dive right back down. Fingertips to the mat. Look up halfway or hands to shins. As you exhale, follow me. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back, but keep the feet crisscross. So your right foot steps in front of the left foot. Your pinky toes still touch. I'm on my fingertips. I encourage you to do the same. Left foot floats up towards the sky. As you exhale, left foot steps to right thumb. Right knee softens down. It's a wobbly low lunge, hands to hips at first. Yeah, lots of wobbling going on. Maybe arms float up to the sky. Not necessary, just an option. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, step forward. Pinky toes touch. Inhale, hands to shins for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, arms to the sky. Exhale, dive right back down. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Plant your palms, step your right foot back. Stay up on fingertips. Left foot steps in front of right foot. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps to left thumb. Left knee down. It's that tightrope. Come up. You know where you are in this wobbly practice. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward, crisscross the legs. Inhale, hands to shins. Fold. Rise to stand, arms to the sky. One exhale, dive right back down. Left foot steps back. Right foot steps in front. And then left leg to the sky. This is our last one. Left foot steps to right thumb. Right knee softens down. Inhale, come up to your low lunge. Lots of wobbling here. Exhale, hands down. Crisscross the legs. Hands, find a halfway lift and fold. Come up. Exhale, fold. Tense up on fingertips, step back to plank pose. Knees can come down. As you exhale, lower your knees or not, come all the way to the belly. Untuck your toes, inhale. Find a little cobra pose. Exhale, lower chest, lower forehead, stay on fingertips, make your way back to down dog. Might not be comfy. And then tiptoe your way to the top of the mat. Look up halfway, please. And then fold. Come up onto tippy toes. So the balls of your feet down, heels lift, knees bend, arms rise. Chair pose, weird one. Whew. Good. Stay on your left tippy toes. Straighten your left leg, pull your right knee in towards your belly. Wobbling is fine. Come back to chair on the tippy toes. Stay on your right tippy toes. Straighten your right leg, pull your left knee in toward your belly. Very hard. Back to chair. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Circle your left heel down. Warrior two. Now, just like you did in chair, pop up onto your right tiptoes. Just breathe. Flip your right palm. Stay on the tiptoes of your right foot, sail up and back. Now from your sailing up and back place, stay on the tiptoes of your right foot. Straighten your right leg enough. Stay on your tiptoes as you exhale. Bend into the knee, cartwheel your hands down. Go ahead. Touch the ground. Step your left foot forward to meet your right foot. And then step your right foot back. Spin your right heel down. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. And pop up onto your left, the ball of your left foot. Settle in, just breathe. Reverse your warrior with a bent left knee to start. And then push your left leg straight as much as it will go. As you exhale, bend back into the knee, cartwheel your hands down. You can lower the heel to the ground. Step your right foot forward to meet your left foot. Find a halfway lift from here. And exhale, fold. Widen your feet as wide as the mat. Turn your toes out a little bit and just sway from side to side. Let that teacher illuminate, shine a light on what is you, what it is to learn, what it is to look at yourself, who you are when you're faced with something unfamiliar. And toe heel your feet towards center. They can touch or they don't have to. On an inhale, sit low, reach high, chair pose. We're meeting a new teacher now. So this segment, there's absolutely nothing we're going to do here that you've not done before. It just might require a little different of a muscle from you. Sit a little lower. Reach your fingertips a little higher. Draw your belly in. Soften the low back. Last breath in. As you exhale, fold forward, touch the ground. This time, palms down, step back, plank pose, traditional old plank pose. Option to keep the knees down for this little march we're gonna do. Widen your feet as wide as the mat. That might help also. Look forward without letting your hips shift. Lower your left forearm to the ground. Lower your right forearm to the ground. You're in forearm plank, breathe in. Let it go. Left palm down, right palm down, you're back in plank pose. And then right elbow down, left elbow down, right palm to the ground, left palm to the ground. Walk your feet in regular old plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga or belly. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And take a moment, pedal out the feet, the knees. Take what you need here. Look forward, step your right foot to your right thumb. So a very traditional setup for a lunge. Float your right fingertips up towards the sky for a twist. Hug your outer hips in, ground through the big toe ball mound of your right foot, and then squeeze the left thigh in. Keep your neck soft. Maybe it feels okay to gaze up at your right thumb. Belly in, take a breath to lengthen your spine, and an exhale to twist deep. Right hand circles down. Set up for warrior one. Step your left foot in and wide, one footprint. Fire up your right glute, arms to the sky. Virabhadrasana the first. So same action here. Hug the outer hips towards the midline. Just like chair pose, ribs down, low back soft, shoulders soft, jaw soft. Left leg active. Breathe in. As you exhale, soften your hands. Frame your right foot. Step your left foot in another footprint, setting up for pyramid pose, and then push your right leg straight. Blocks are more than wonderful here. Hug your outer hips in. Send your right hip crease up and back as your heart moves forward. Climb your right thumb into your right hip crease. Manually guide the hip back, right? This is familiar. Twisted triangle, we all know this one. Maybe hand to sacrum as you peel your chest open just like you did in that twist. Maybe right arm to the sky. Last breath in, stay with it. Right hand to the ground. Right leg up and back to the sky. Down dog split. Keep your left foot where it is. Let your right leg, the knee open. And right foot can step back into position as you float the left leg up and back. Step your left foot to your left thumb. Set up a very traditional lunge pose. And then left fingertips sweep up towards the sky. Hug outer hips in. Squeeze. Lengthen from fingertip to fingertip. Keep the neck free and clear. And then lengthen from the heel of your right foot to the crown of your head and twist. Last breath in. Exhale, hand down. Warrior one stance. Skip your right foot in and wide. Arms to the sky. Be here, breathe. Fire up your back leg. And hands to the mat. Frame out your left foot. Skip your right foot in again. Turn the toes towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Push your left leg straight, pyramid. Take a big breath in to send the crown of your head and your heart forward. And climb your left thumb into your left hip crease. Manually guide the hip up and back and start to twist open. Right? Old familiar does not mean easy, right? Challenging and familiar, that is our teacher too. Oh. Left hand down, right foot stays as it is. Left leg sweeps up and back to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip. Keep your right foot as it is. Bring your left knee in towards your belly. Plug your hip into the socket. Step your left foot forward, just one footprint of your right. And then scoop your right foot off the mat. Plug the hip into the socket. Take one footprint step forward. Same thing with the left foot. Just plug the hip into the socket. Mini step forward. Same thing with the right. Your feet will come towards the top of the mat at some point. Inhale to look up halfway when you get there. Exhale, fold. Inhale, knees bend, arms rise, chair pose. It'll be a lot easier this time. Stand on your left foot. Bring your right knee in towards your belly. Left leg straightens. As you bend into the left knee, figure four. Chest forward, airplane the arms, reach the fingertips back, palms face down, and then squeeze. We're gonna inhale up to stand again. Left leg straightens, right knee in towards the belly as the arms rise. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, stand on the right foot, left knee into the belly. As you exhale, figure four twist, left ankle over right thigh. Arms sweep back like airplane. Palms down, chest open. Inhale, back to standing on one leg. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, dive forward, hands to the mat. Look up halfway. Plant your palms, step back, plank. Lower slowly for my count of 5 to the ground. 4. Belly strong, look forward, legs engaged. 3, 2. Legs really strong for 1. You're on the ground, untuck your toes. Sweep your arms back at your sides with your palms face down. Feel your heart beating. Tent up on fingertips, please turn your head through center. Zipper your inner thighs in towards midline. Push into your fingertips, lift your chest. So just like you did a moment ago in a chair figure 4 airplane, think about rolling the shoulders onto the back, peeling your chest up, and then float your arms up off the mat, perhaps. Turn your palms down so your thumbs start to rotate up a little bit more. Hug your arm bones in towards the midline. Keep your neck spine long. Take 3 more breaths here. The next time you're preparing to exhale, slowly come down, rest on your right cheek and breathe. And if you want, you can slide your left knee up to hip height, make a little pillow for a moment. We have 2 more airplanes. Just a moment of relief for the low back. As you tune into your heart beating on the ground, it's just a reminder that we're all creating this collective heartbeat. Slide your left leg in line with your right, arms at your sides, forehead to the ground, tent up on fingertips, bend your elbows slightly, hug the elbows and the shoulders together behind you as you lift your chest. Engage the legs, maybe straighten the arms, reach your fingertips back towards your toes, get long. Tippy toes to the crown of your head, squeeze the arm bones in. Take 3 more breaths. Self-study. Lower down, rest on your left cheek. Option to slide your right knee up to hip height, make a little pillow for yourself. I think one of the other things I keep coming back to in my way of making sense of the world is the idea of detachment, right? So we are attached to this practice for whatever reason, because it helps us detach from the stress of the day, from the aches and pains of our body, whatever reason. But we have to remember to, as we attach to the practice, to our own self study, we have to detach from the idea that everyone is going to respond just as we do. We can't attach to or expect that it's all going to look the same. Right leg slides long to meet the left, forehead to the ground. Last time. Shalabhasana. Inhale, chest lifts, arms rise, maybe legs float up. What is this moment revealing to you about you? There is no hierarchy. None of our teachers are more valuable than the next. 2 more breaths right here. As you exhale, let it go. You can make a pillow. You can push back to child's pose in a moment. We'll meet in table. You have the next several moments to do what feels most wonderful to you. When you're ready, table, We kind of bypassed our traditional cats and cows. If you want to take a few rounds of very traditional arching and rounding of the spine, we're going to segue from um, the teacher that's totally unfamiliar, right? The thing that just blows your mind. You can barely even find your balance, make sense of left and right. We're segueing from the teacher that um, shines a light on who we are in rigor, right? Who forces us to stay with the things that are uncomfortable, that are sticky. And we're moving towards the very traditional and the very soothing teacher that we go to when we just want things to feel good, right? Pigeon awaits, set up for a right hip opener. So for some of us, pigeon actually doesn't feel that great. If that's you, we're going to do one side and then the other side. You can set this up on your back. You can use your props. I know everyone has something supportive at home. Make it feel good. It doesn't have to be an unfamiliar teacher. It doesn't have to be the teacher who is forcing you to go outside your box right now. Let it just be the teacher who builds you up, right? Who makes you feel like you are good as gold. And I'm going to leave some of this up to you too. So, it changes for me day to day. Sometimes it feels really good to see some undulations of the spine here. That's an option. You can turn this into a restful pigeon right away. And the comfortable teacher, as a practitioner of this practice, you know that even at some point, the familiar, the comfortable, um, you start to brush up against the edges a little bit of what that means exactly. See if you can pinpoint, right? See if you can stay with a practice of radical simplicity so that you're doing only one thing here and not many things. And just breathing in a hip opener. Five more breaths. When your five breaths is complete, make your way out of your pigeon. Do anything you need to do to prepare yourself for the second side. If you aren't already there, do start to make your way to the left side. You have plenty of time here. At least 5 more breaths. Any way you want to come out, make sure you've gotten all you need from this moment. You have plenty of time. If you're still working on something, take your time. We're going to meet in a symmetrical pose, which means you don't have to even anything out. Come to sit on your bottom. You can walk your feet forward. Make a diamond shape with the legs, feet together, knees wide. If you have a block, it might feel nice to stack the block on the insides of your feet. Let your spine really round here and let your forehead drape over your feet. Or rest on the block. Then just a few times, you can let the shoulders roll up towards the ears, down your back. Reverse the action. There's no right or wrong way. Let your breath slow. We'll meet on our backs. And we'll stay on our back. So if there's a layer or two you want to put on, you won't be doing anything else rigorous. When you come to your back, hug your right knee in towards your belly. Your left foot can stay on the floor. You can lengthen it long. Doesn't matter to me. And interlace your fingers behind the right hamstring. Just kind of bend and straighten into your right leg a few times. Like a juicy, yummy hamstring stretch. The next time your right leg is straight or straight-ish, turn it into an ankle roll. Feel the front of the foot, the calf, the sides of the ankle. Feel all those little muscles awakening. Make circles in the opposite direction if you've only done one side. If your left leg is long on the mat, bend your knee. Create a figure 4 here. Now we're going to move into another hip opener. You're more than welcome to stay on your back and interlace the hands behind the left leg. You're also more than welcome to widen the arms and drop your figure 4 shape over to the left. And I always like to hold my foot here with my left hand. It gives me a little bit more traction. There's like a hip opener, there's a side body opener. I would imagine if your body's different than mine, you might even feel other things. And just take your time to catch your breath. Allow your breath to really catch up with you. You might notice if you're at all like me that even ease isn't all that easy, right? As soon as things start to feel calmer, there's less demand on the body for me. My brain immediately goes somewhere else. These teachers, um, when I was thinking about it, my challenge to myself was to avoid creating a hierarchy. That each of them was just as valuable as the other. Let's take a very simple supine twist. So for me, it's just going to mean stacking the right knee on top of the left knee and maybe drawing both knees up a little higher towards the left arm so that it's more in the spine and less in the hip. When you're ready, bring yourself back to center. Excuse me, put both of your feet on the floor for a moment just to feel the difference side to side. We'll do the same little bit with the left leg. So your right knee can stay bent, your right leg can straighten, totally up to you. Let us not forget our ankle rolls. A couple good rotations in one direction. And then reverse. Create a hip opener, whether it's a figure four on your back or a figure four on its side. Turn this into a supine twist for the spine. Less in the hip, more in the middle back. Bring yourself back through center. Give yourself a squeeze, knees in towards the belly. This gesture of self-love. So one more restful pose. Couple options. Maybe it's like restorative bridge if you're near a wall and you want to put your legs at the wall. If you have enough props to set up something like a heart bench or a Supta Baddha Konasana, you can do that. If you don't have any props and you have no interest in like moving around on your mat, feet together, knees wide as you are, that always feels great in my body. I trust that each of you knows what makes your practice feel most sweetly and divinely nurturing for you. And just breathe, right? And as I'm having my own experience of practice on the mat here, I'm thinking about the way I relate to some of my sweet and kind teachers, right? My old favorites. And sometimes it happens like the people you think you relate to, the people you go to because they're going to tell you what you want to hear. You know, it's coming to mind for me that's when I stop paying attention. Right? I no longer hear the wisdom or see the lesson or the value. There's a mantra that my teacher always used to use, Soham Hamsa. And it's I am that, and all that is me. And it's interesting, right, that when we see violence and we somehow react to it violently, or we have a thought of violence, whatever it is, right? It's just self-study, right? We attach to the practice of evolving, of uniting ourselves with ourselves. And we have to detach from the expectation that anyone is going to be a certain way. We have to allow. And that's the most non-violent thing we can do, is just allow in ourselves. Allow our reactions to be authentic and our actions to be calculated. Allow yourself to be in this ongoing cycle of self-study so that your actions, right, your gestures for justice, truly create union for yourself. Make your way into final rest. If you're happy where you are, just stay. Settle and resettle. I was listening to a podcast today about how the ancient yogis would practice in the forest, and they used the asana, this one limb of yoga, as a way to transcend um, their physical embodiments, a way to kind of dissolve. And in a lot of ways, that's um, kind of what a good shavasana feels like. Let yourself dissolve. Be very gentle with yourself as you come back. Receive a sweet breath in and let out a sigh that feels like relief. Reawaken your physical self. Small movements first. Let them get organically bigger, broader. Make a journey to a seat. And gather your hands together in front of your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Namaste.